Hi.
It's Christmas!
It is Christmas.
And this is the Christmas special of Drinks and Dystopia podcast.
The Christmas special.
This week, for our Christmas special, Lee is going to be me. And he is going to ask the questions. So what's your tagline?
Oh God, you put me on the spot here. So what? So I've got to say the name of the podcast and then the tagline.
I just said the name of the podcast.
Okay.
So you've got to make up a tagline of what this podcast is about.
What it's about. Drinks and Dystopia, where pissheads talk nonsense.
Perfect.
Yeah, nailed it. Drinks Dystopia.
Okay, hello.
Hey! Am I Tanya?
Yeah, you're Tanya this week. This is the Christmas special.
Hello!
Hello.
What does that mean?
I am Lee.
I hate everything.
I'm eating Maltesers.
We're going to start with Backtrack Corner. Backtrack Corner.
We can't backtrack corner.
Right.
We're recording these two episodes in
In a row, yeah. So we don't know what... There's probably loads of people like, the replicator's bullshit.
Probably more arguments about your widespread, just blanket statements about politics is probably why I would imagine is people
It's
upset.
probably going to upset a few people. But, you know, that's how I roll.
Yeah, so if we didn't clarify earlier. So this week, Lee's going to ask me a mini question.
Yes.
And you're going to pose a new world rule on this.
Okay, so the mini question. Can it be anything? Can I ask you anything?
Yeah, anything. Well, not like anything. It's kind of got to do with sci-fi or fantasy or animation or films or...
Okay, so...
Not just like, can a hand and a foot... Would you rather feet for hands or hands for feet?
No.
No.
That is a good question, but yeah, we have to ask a better question than that. Okay, so if you were a sci-fi character, would you rather have feet for hands or hands for feet? Okay, in a world.
Oh, was that not
that's
your?
Not a question.
That's not your
That's
question.
a
Okay.
silly. That would be a silly question. Okay, so a mini question for you.
Yeah.
If you
You've seen me do this 7 times. I feel like this is...
I know, but you always have questions ready. You're prepared.
I
You've
do
literally
not.
just said to me, like, in the last 10 seconds.
I do not. That is wrong.
Really?
What normally happens is that we're watching telly and I'm like, should we record it? And I'm like, yeah. And then I come up with one on the spot. Bam.
Really?
So you feel bad right now.
I do feel bad. In that case, you are an improv queen, because it seems like you know...
I'm kind of shit at it. You're very shit at it. I think that's the...
Do you know what throws me is that I assume it's all that reading from the paper as you're saying it to me assumes that you've written the question
This
down.
piece of paper says, backtrack. Question. New world rule. That's it.
Okay.
That's what's written on here.
Brilliant. Okay then, so the fashion of a sci-fi world. What fashion do you like? Fashion of sci-fi worlds?
Is the question, do I like fashion of sci-fi world, or what fashion would I want to wear from a sci-fi world? Because they're two very... One of the answer is...
Both.
Yes.
Okay.
The other one is an in-depth insight.
That one then. That one. Which fashions of world...
I'm kind of annoyed because it's a great question.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, let's start.
Yeah.
So many.
Well, narrow it down.
Well, we got to go
Specify.
Fifth Element first.
Right, good.
Fifth Element is probably...
What, Chris Tucker?
Anyone in Fifth Element. Everything everyone wears in Fifth Element, even the shitty, not die-hard vest that Bruce Willis wears is amazing.
Yeah.
Freaking love it. Star Wars.
What about multipass?
Everything.
Just saying words from Fifth Element now.
But the stuff she wears is awesome, even if it's just bands. It's very well-placed bands.
They are very strategically placed bands.
Star Wars. Padme. Greatest costumes in the world.
True.
Not very practical or movable.
Well, what would you wear then? So if I said to you, right now we live in a world where you can just wear sci-fi clothing and it's perfectly cool. What? Your face is so excited. So what would it be? Well, as whom would you dress on a day-to-day basis?
This is such a hard question. There could be a whole episode on its own.
Well, there we go. That's what I can just do off the cuff. That's what I'm capable of. The cuff as well. That's good.
Oh, you've got Total Recall. You've got Demolition Man. Hunger Games.
You just naming sci-fis
Yeah,
now?
because
Or?
I want everything they wear all the time.
Well, in Demolition Man, they're all just police, aren't they? Do you like the police uniform?
It's not just police. The people walking around. They go to the party
Yeah.
and they've all got like. There's one woman with like a weird silver dress.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
The Island. That's a good film.
Do they just wear white jumpsuits in that?
But she's got really blonde hair and that looks awesome.
That's true.
I'm gonna have to just go anything from Fifth Element. Do I have to pick an actual costume?
Yeah.
Is Wonder Woman sci-fi?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, no, but I'm going to say no because I want you to pick someone else.
Who would you pick? Let me think for a bit because this is an impossible question. You've asked me an impossible question here.
Have I?
Yeah, you've asked me who's the best dressed person in all of sci-fi.
Kind of, yeah. I kind of have asked you that, haven't I? Who would I dress like? Ming the Merciless, I think, from
That's not
Flash
sci-fi.
Gordon. Flash Gordon isn't sci-fi.
It was filmed in the past.
I'm furious at the suggestion. Yeah, Ming the Merciless. He's got a good look. That was easy.
Wait, you shave your head?
Yeah.
You can't grow the mustache though, can you?
Oh, I can bloody try. I'll give it a good old go. Pick a specific one. Pick the costume of one person, one character. You're like,
I'm gonna.
yes.
Can I also pick the hair of that character?
Yes, you got the whole
Right.
look.
I'm gonna pick the whole look of the character I don't know the name of from the new Star Wars.
Wow.
People will know who I mean.
I don't know who that is.
She's got purple hair.
Yeah.
I want her hair
Okay.
and her clothes.
Yeah?
Yeah. We're in a magical world right now where I have seen the new Star Wars and Lee hasn't.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
What's wrong with you? It's been out for at least 24 hours. Why haven't you
Yeah.
seen it?
I don't know. I know I'm going to be disappointed.
There's
so
a
I'm
Welshman in it, Lee.
I rest
Get
my
them
case.
bastards.
just...
Go on, you can go and get them.
Go on, buddies. Let's go over there.
Press that big button and go and chase them. These are
we
not actual lines
We've got to
from it.
stop this rebel scum, haven't we? They're everywhere. They're running around like, it's achevi.
Go over there now in a minute. None of these things are actual quotes from the new Star Wars. This is not spoilers. Or the singer, the female singer from...
Whose coat's that uniform?
the female singer from Fifth Element.
Yeah.
That's on the stage.
The one with the octopus head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want the octopus head, but I'll have her
No.
dress.
Well, you got to have the whole
I
thing.
don't also want the silver weird gem thing that she's stored inside her chest cavity.
You don't want that either?
No, I don't want that.
God, you're not getting to the spirit of this at all, are you?
Okay.
So there we are.
So,
So now the question.
New World Rule.
This year's world. Okay, so this one...
This year's world.
Oh, I don't know. I've had a few drinks.
Episode.
Oh, that's the point. What are you drinking?
Oh. I'm drinking the same
You
as
still
10
drinking
minutes
the
ago
rosé?
when we recorded the last episode, so I'm drinking rosé. But I've also got a tiny bottle, which I won for a fancy dress costume of David Bowie, which was on one of our episodes. We won fancy dress costume prizes for that episode when we were dressed as...
Oh, yeah, when I was just persistently clicking my heels for the whole podcast.
That is the one.
Yeah.
But I'm
Tanya
drinking-
won for being
David Bowie.
a fantastic David Bowie from Labyrinth. Yeah.
I didn't. I won for having a groin.
Well, it was a fantastically impressive groin, though, wasn't it?
Well, I've got a little bottle of sparkling wine that I'm going to drink.
Superb.
Yeah.
Lovely.
But I did buy it with the girl that hosted the party, so I know it's like the cheap shitty one. I was like, just get the cheap shitty one, they'll never know. And then I won it, so I know. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking homemade Baileys.
Oh, is it homemade Baileys, or does it have an awesome, awesome Christmas name?
We might call it George Failey's.
Guys, if you can tell me on a postcard / email what reference George Failey's is,
Well, Failey's is... Well, we got to
I'm going
explain
to send
that
them a
bit,
prize.
haven't we?
But if they can understand, I'm going to send a viewer a prize.
Okay, if you
listener,
can-
not a viewer, a listener a prize. If they can, the first person that emails me on drinksanddystopia@hotmail.com and tells me what George Failey's is
If
in
you
reference
can,
to.
if you can figure out what the Failey's bit, why is it called Failey's, and if you can figure out why it's called George Failey's, then yeah, you win.
But what is it? What is the
A
actual?
complete pointless-
Because every
pointless
year we
prize.
have a Christmas tradition where we
Yeah.
make fake Baileys. They won't get it.
Well, they will now.
No, but they still won't understand. If anybody can still get that reference, I want to
Yeah,
know. The
okay.
first person that emails.
Yeah, it's homemade Baileys basically, and it's got Maltesers in it as well somehow.
You say that like we put them in intention.
Yeah,
I just threw a Malteser
threw
in
a Malteser in my drink. but I'm happy to drink it. So it's great. I'm chugging down on the Baileys. It's a winner.
Yeah, so what's this new world rule? Oh, well, who came up with this new world rule?
So this was a rule suggested by Brent.
A listener?
A listener / co-worker.
/ friend?
/ friend.
Is he progressed to friend? You're just going to call him co-worker?
No, he works with me, so he's a co-worker, but he's also my friend.
I've met him and harassed him.
Tanya's she's very upset about the fact that I sometimes refer to people as colleagues or co-workers.
Yeah, because it's me and I've known you for 23 years.
Well, I don't know you that well.
So what's this new world rule?
So this rule is, in this world, instead of normal reproduction between men and women, human women eject their eggs into a nest or into a corner, or they place their eggs somewhere, and then a man comes in and fertilizes the eggs.
This is gross.
Similar to how a frog or a fish
or a seahorse.
Well, no.
Does the man then carry them?
No, in a seahorse, the man carries the young and then ejaculates the young out into the sea. But no, this is just like a fish or a frog, where women lays the eggs and then the man fertilizes the eggs. So how would that change society in a world where that's how things are done?
Exactly the same.
I fear you're going to say that. And the more I think about it, the more it would be actually, most things would be the same.
It wouldn't. It would be very
Thanks,
different.
Brent.
No, it would be so different.
So, okay.
I have some fundamental questions that you're going to now have to just plow in.
I don't make up these rules. Go on.
So, let me clarify, because I've had a bit of wine.
Yeah.
So, going about your business.
Yeah.
You decide to have a kid.
Uh-huh.
So, the woman would find a corner of the house.
If you wanted, yeah.
Where is this happening? Corner of a house? We have to find a pond?
Why would you need to find a pond?
You said frogs.
Yeah, it's similar to how the frogs live in water. You don't live in water, do you?
No, I know, but so they're coming out as eggs, like a chicken? Are they going to be solid? Because they need.
Oh, these are good questions.
But this is what I'm talking about. They need a liquid, or like something that keeps in the heat, keeps them suspended so they don't crack and stuff. So are they coming out as eggs, or are they coming out like frog spawn and I have to put them in liquid?
There's no liquid involved.
So eggs.
They're eggs, but they're not necessarily bird eggs. It would be like a gooey membrane, perhaps.
Gross.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so how you see people in those like stasis pods in films?
Possibly, it would be like it would be like the alien eggs from the movie Aliens, but not as big as that. So a woman would again, this is part of the conversation, I suppose, but we don't know. This doesn't actually happen, so we have to make it up how it happens. But she would, let's say, 12. A woman spits out 12 little gooey eggs, and then the man has to come and fertilise said eggs. They won't be rock solid, like a dinosaur egg, but they also wouldn't just be like gloop, like frog spawn. They would be somewhere in between.
So we're back to it again. It's like, we would decide, right, we're going to have kids.
Yeah.
I'll go and get a paddling pool.
What? You'd have to put them in a paddling pool.
But they're like a soft membrane. I'm not going to just leave them on the floor.
Why not? You just make a little nest for them and plop them in there. A nice comfy little nest.
Right, okay, so I go to Target and we buy a cheap one because we're cheap asses. We buy
a paddling pool. Okay.
A cheap nest. Human nest.
Yeah.
You put them in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there you go. And you go in, you do your business.
Yeah.
How long do they gestate for?
Well, this is a very good question, which we sort of brushed upon when I was speaking with Brent and Sam, who also contributed to this. How long would they have to be? Because would they come out as fully formed humans? Because they have to fight their way out of the egg. So like a baby, you just squirt them out, right? So a baby doesn't need any dexterity, doesn't need anything. But if it has to come out of an egg, it would have to be a little bit more developed. So Sam suggested perhaps there would be like a 3-year gestation period rather than 9 months.
Well, I know the birds have to get out of the egg themselves, and you can't help them because that's how they learn to survive. But if they're in a membrane that's quite soft, you probably wouldn't need them in for that long. The frogs don't actually stay in there for that long. So you might have a middle ground. It might actually only be a year. I think humans are meant to stay in the body for a year, but they can't because the body is too small. So they have to give birth. Whereas when we go back to sheep in a bag, like we talked about before, which was 100% true.
How have we gone back to sheep in a bag?
Because it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, similar.
But in that, they would say that a human, if they did it for humans, it would be 12 months because that's how much we're meant to be in the womb for.
True.
So let's say a year.
Yeah.
So it does beg the question, if humans are allowed to have 12 children at a time, is there a lot of fatalities in childbirth?
No.
What? So everyone has 12 babies?
Yeah.
So the population of the Earth would skyrocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I suppose the other thing is we're assuming it's kind of the world we're living in, but it wouldn't be, would it? It'd be a different world in a different galaxy where we are exactly like we are, but this is the way it's always been.
Okay, well, how about this then? How about the difference is those little baby eggs are also delicious. And they have a slight...
How delicious.
Like the most delicious thing on the planet.
Are they delicious before they're fertilised?
Yes, and after. Fertilising them is just adding like a lovely bit of sauce or something.
That's gross.
And then,
that's the grossest thing that's ever been.
And they also have slightly hallucinogenic properties, so they're kind of a drug. So you have to protect these gooey larva eggs.
So what you're saying?
From other predators.
So people would be breaking into people's houses and eating their children.
Yeah.
Why?
They're trying to eat your eggs.
Why do you what?
Because
you just said your friends?
Because you just said there's going to be 12. Everyone's going to have 12 babies. So I'm like, well, they won't be because people will be breaking into your house and eating them and taking them and ingesting them so they could get high and stuff.
This is the most terrifying world we've ever... This is not a Christmas special. This is a nightmare. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm just I'm freewheeling a bit. I'm
freewheeling. Like, oh, you're going to be a grandmother, but don't worry, for your Christmas present, they've given you 3 of them to eat.
They'd be very... Okay, so, let's just move past this. All right, they're delicious. That's just the way it is.
I don't think we can move past this. I think that changes everything.
It does. It makes everything very interesting. So,
Well, terrifying.
Well, depends.
I do not want to wake up in the night having decided finally to have kids with you and then find you eating our children. I do not want to live in that world. I didn't mean to. Tripping off your balls. Wearing one as a hat.
It adds an interesting twist on it, though, doesn't it?
There was already an interesting twist. You didn't need to add the deliciousness to it.
Okay, they're delicious. Okay, but they can plead for their lives.
What are you talking about?
Well, okay, if
so they know
we're basically in this arms race now because you said, well,
everybody, this is why Lee is not in charge of the questions. What are you talking about?
Well, you said everyone's going to have 12 babies. So I was like, okay, then they're delicious. And now you're like, well, everyone's going to eat them. I'm like, well, no, because they can plead for their lives. So it's like, it's an arms race. And that's how you might be like, oh, these things are so delicious.
It's an arms race.
Yeah.
So the most persuasive wins.
Well, no, all I'm saying is just like to equalise the fact that they're delicious. When you try to eat them, they will plead with you.
Give me an example of what these pleading ball sacks of babies. Please. Right.
I want to leave. Oh
no. A bit like that, maybe.
We might have to stop this because I don't know if I can take this.
I think something along those lines.
What you're saying?
Yeah.
The human will have progressed to be able to speak English.
Yeah, but
fully to the point where they can plead for their own life, understand an existential crisis in the womb before they're born.
Well, because they're in there a bit longer, they've learned to understand. They can hear. It's not like in a human belly where there's lots of muffled sounds. This is a membrane, so they can hear people talking. So they're learning.
Mockery of this podcast.
No, this is serious. Okay, they can hear you through the membrane. So they've learned the rudiments of the English language. They understand.
Please, I want to live. There's a rudiment.
Well, also that's what you would teach your child, wouldn't you? After the woman popped out the eggs, she would say to them, please, no, please don't eat me.
Please,
and then the babies,
no.
and the little baby's like, please, no.
But their father's eating them. Couldn't he be the one that's taught them these pleas?
Yeah, and it would be very interesting. See, you want to get into the deep stuff. This is about the interesting psychology of it's sort of Freudian in the male who'd be teaching his young to plead for their lives, so he would know exactly what they should say to convince him not to eat them. Because there will be moments during that gestation period where the urge will be almost overwhelming. It comes up. I think every man considers the possibility
eating their young.
Yes, I think every man thinks when it's born, will I eat it? I think everyone thinks that.
Right, okay. You have blown my mind a little bit because I
Okay.
know that's a thing in the animal kingdom, and now I'm realizing that maybe every man has thought this, but it's such a subject that never even gets mentioned in comedy.
You can't bring it up. People,
No,
society turns on
This
you.
is like podcast stop.
Yeah.
Tell me seriously. Does every man in the world consider eating their young because it's an animal instinct?
Yeah, like you.
No,
look-
no. I need you to clarify for me right now.
No man thinks he wants to eat his fucking young. Okay, no, that's not a thing. I'm pulling
Ladies
your leg.
listening, question your men and let me know.
But in this world,
We've literally not got past the first hurdle yet.
no, we're getting bogged down here, aren't we?
We're getting bogged. You've made them speak in the womb. I don't...
It's not necessarily a womb.
There's
You
so
know?
many other ways you could have gone with this, apart from the pleading for their lives before they're born. In a paddling pool.
In a paddling pool,
By drug addicts that are sneaking in your windows.
trying to eat them. Yeah. So, you know,
Right, okay, so
but,
because
you know-
they're delicious, what's the average
but
that
Tanya,
survive?
how would this affect the justice system?
Are people still delicious after they're born?
No.
Because now we're a cannibal society.
No. Once they pop out, they're just normal humans.
But how do you know humans aren't delicious?
That's a very good point. I have often thought that. I'm glad you brought this up because this is another issue which we're not discussing, and I feel like as a society we should be.
But if you're eating baby
Yeah,
willingly
yeah.
and it's accepted,
I don't think it's
to help the
accepted.
population.
I think society frowns on it. I don't think it's accepted.
So some people do have 12 children and the population would go crazy.
Yes, but then some people have no children because
they
they
ate
eat them
them.
all. Yeah, or druggies broke in and ate them, or just you ate them. You know,
What does it do to you when you eat a fetus in this world?
it's like it's got slight hallucinogenic properties.
So can they get out of your house, or do you come home with no babies and a man on the floor going, "I'm the queen of soap"?
That happened one time, and I wish you wouldn't have brought that up in the podcast. Okay, I had a rough day.
So if they open their mouth, can you hear the babies in their stomach going, "He ate me"?
If he swallows them whole, maybe, but you wouldn't be able to swallow them whole. They're too big. They would be too big. They're about the size. I think I'm in my mind's eye. They're about the size of a bowling ball. Each egg. Is that about? Would you agree?
No.
No.
How are you eating this? You
How-
slurping it? Knife and fork?
Yeah. I think-
Microwave? Do you have to cook it?
No, you'd have to cook it. You just tuck straight in. You just like it's like a coconut. You just pop a little hole in it and drink it out. Drink the delicious juice
You're
inside.
gross.
Well, you're asking the questions. I want to know about how this would affect the transportation system, and you're going on about
The fundamentals of how this world would run.
I'm just saying, like, how would schools be different?
Would the mother have to sit on the eggs at all? Like,
You don't have to sit on them, but you do have to like roll around in them from time to time, like in a sort of mud wrestling sort of style. You have to sort of roll around in them because it's part of the bonding process to imprint on them. But you don't have to sit on them all the time.
as you're rolling, are you shouting, help me, to help
To
them?
try and teach them, yeah, to
for
defend
when
themselves.
their father tries
Yeah.
to devour them.
Exactly. I mean, a good mother would, I would say.
You're not Zeus. I feel like in Greek mythology this is a problem. This shouldn't be a problem for the modern day.
This is not the one day. This is the future. This is a future we all have to prepare for.
I love the idea that in this world as well, if you did anything wrong, your dad would be like, hey up, I'll eat you.
It's too late then, though, isn't it?
I just think that if you're eating babies, you're eating humans. I think that it's going to carry on.
No,
Yeah,
because
in
it's
this
a
world,
it's
the
a
cannibals-
larval stage. It's a different stage. It's they're not little humans. They're little balls of delicious goo. They're not humans
So
yet.
people eat eggs and chicken, calves and cows,
Yeah,
lambs and sheep,
yeah,
baby and human.
yeah. But you're still killing a human, though, aren't you? It's alive. So that's why we do. That's the only
All those
reason.
animals I just listed are alive.
Yeah, but that's the only. Yeah, I know, but that's the only reason we don't eat humans, isn't it? That's the reality that no one wants to face. It's just because it's murder. If it wasn't murder, everyone
I
would eat
think
humans.
that if you went to the supermarket and the eggs were like, please don't eat me, people would not be buying them.
Yeah,
Like,
true. I agree. They probably wouldn't. So there they are. That's a
I could
deterrent.
grow up to be a genius.
See, and you
I
said,
could stop World Wars.
and you implied that my they plead for their life thing wouldn't be a deterrent, and yet you've just disproved your own
I
point.
didn't say it wouldn't be a deterrent. I said it was nonsense.
Okay, so we've established that this is a sensible way for humans to reproduce that is an alternative to the current quite boring way. Okay, so this new and improved, some have called it improved,
boring miracle of nature.
Yeah, in that sort of very unspectacular way. But in this new, and many people would say improved way, how does the world change? Like what effect does that have on a lot of things?
Like what?
Well, like what effect does it have on things? Lots of things.
Like what?
Like so if people so what happens if a man who's not your partner
runs in
and fertilizes the eggs?
I think I'd be happy he's not eating them.
But what if he eats them as well? But I'm just saying, what happens? What is that rape? Is it a crime, or is it just the way it goes? Do you even have partners in this world, or do you just have eggs and just everyone comes and has a go?
Oh, they're not snakes.
Is that how snakes do it? Do they?
I think so.
Well, there we are. There we are. So it already happens in nature. So you can poo-poo it.
We live in houses.
We do live in houses. Yeah.
What kind of people are going to be stalking your house until you give birth to a 12?
There's people who stalk
sex and then run in and go, "Way." That's not a thing. No, that will not happen.
But it will happen, will it? Of course it will.
It might happen if you forget about it and drop him in the street by accident, like you dropped your shopping. And a homeless man or something comes up and goes, "Way, mine," and gets high off a few of them.
Yeah, gobbles them up.
So instead, if you knew you weren't going to eat anyone, could you teach them other things? Could you teach them to sing? Do you have a little choir?
Yeah.
Would you go on YouTube and find out, you won't believe what this baby spawn can do, and then ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, it'd be great. Now you're getting into it.
The definition of great is different to mine.
Really?
Okay, so let's say that a family let all 12 of these ball sacks live.
Yeah.
What happens when they're born? So what age are they? Are they like newborns?
They're 3 when they come out. They're 3 years old.
Random? You've just picked that out of nowhere?
Yeah,
okay.
They're 3 years old.
So they can walk?
They can walk.
Like calves?
They can talk.
Or like baby giraffes or something?
Yeah.
They can talk?
They can plead for their lives. They can talk.
Can they read?
No, they can't read. They have no access to reading materials in their membrane sac.
If they can't see out, how do they know when to plead?
They can sort of see shadows. They can sort of see shadows outside. They're like, oh, that's a threatening shadow.
So if I just walk up to my kids, they'll be like,
they might start pleading, yeah.
Don't eat me!
Yeah. Then you roll around in them like a mud wrestler again, and then they're like, oh, okay, it's mum. This all makes so much sense. I don't know why you're struggling with this. This is simple stuff.
Okay, so I now have 12 kids that are 3.
12
3-year-olds.
Yeah, think of that. How does that change?
How does the economy work if I need to feed 12 children?
Good question. And I may well ask you that, and I will.
I'm asking you. You're the question master.
Yeah, no, that's...
You just pitch these things at me normally, and I have to make up something.
No, you don't. No, you tell me.
You've done good so far.
You say to me, how would this change? And I have to tell you how it changes and what I think the effect on the world would be. Well, I'm saying to you, what would the effect of the world be if everyone suddenly had 12 3-year-olds?
There'd be a lot of suicides.
Yeah. So there we go. So mental health would be an issue? That's what you're saying?
I think that if I could eat my child before it was born,
yeah,
and a day later it was born, I don't think people would have a problem with eating the child. I don't think.
You're obsessed with eating. Do you just want to eat people? Is this what all this podcast has been? Is about you just trying to justify your craving for human flesh?
I do not, but I just think if you're allowing a rule where people eat babies, then they're going to eat
But
people.
They're not babies though.
You have to just accept. You've asked me what it is, and I'm telling you, in this world, they would be cannibals.
But you're getting into dangerous territory here, because now you're saying that life begins at conception and they're babies, and I'm saying they're not babies.
Okay, let's put it where they can have a conversation with me.
Well, it's not a conversation. It can plead. That's all. It can parrot phrases. Because it can hear through the walls, and it's 3 years old.
The economy wouldn't work because everyone would need to make so much money.
Okay.
No one would have children anymore. Because you'd have to have 12 of them. Who's committing to that?
Well, you could just pop out one egg if you want.
You can't... What? Whoa.
You don't have to have 12.
You can choose how many you pop out. How do you do that in your head?
That's what I've just decided, yes.
How do you do that?
You just think about it. You just go, I'm going to have one.
Give
Like
me-
how women work now. You know, a woman's like, I'm going to have twins. And they have twins. It's like, that's how it works.
Okay, so I was going to just say, give me a real example of this applying.
There we are. You got one. So you just decide, I'm going to have 4. Out pop 4.
I feel like you didn't pay attention in science.
This is.
Do you meet
cutting
people that are
edge.
like, I'm having a baby? You're like, oh, you only went for the one.
Well, you would only go for 1, wouldn't you? It's great.
Well, apparently you'd go for 12.
Well, no, you wouldn't, because why would you want 12
So,
babies?
right, okay, so you're changing it so that you can have between 1 and 12.
You can pop out as many as you want.
So, what,
up
like
to
112?
Up to 12.
Up to 12.
Yeah.
Well, that changes that better.
Okay.
You're not going to eat it if you've only decided. Or maybe you'll have 3 and eat 1
Yeah.
before it complete.
That's true, yeah.
Alright, that works better.
So you could plan ahead with like meals. You could be like, well, have 12, we'll keep 2, so that's 10. We got 10 meals. So that'd be
How does law and order change?
So yeah, how does it change? How does people's relationships with their families change? How does your relationship with children change?
Well, I know my mum didn't eat me, so
That's good.
I'd be thankful.
Yeah, that's good.
I'd be
news.
like, how many of my brothers and sisters did you eat? And they'd always be like, none. I'd be like, well, that's a lie. I don't believe you. So you'd be very mistrusting world.
Yeah.
You'd be thinking everyone's going to eat your children, did eat your siblings, or wants to eat you.
You're very bogged down in the eating thing. I feel like,
I'm bogged down in it.
Yeah.
You invented it. Your brain came up with this.
Yeah, but I told you it was an arms race. I was like, how do I limit the population? Oh, here we go. You could just eat them.
I think in a civilized world, we'd come up with a law that meant you couldn't eat them. So if you found out people were, they'd go to prison.
Okay. I've got no issues with that alteration. I mean, they're still delicious though. Yeah, they have to be delicious. That's whole part of the thing.
Why do they have to be delicious?
Because you need an incentive to eat them.
Why do we need incentives to eat them if you can decide how many they need to be?
Oh yeah, that does eliminate the need for an incentive to eat them. All right then, you don't have to eat them. You can just choose how many you
We've
have.
been talking for 35 minutes and then you decided to take that back.
Change a rule. No one has to eat the babies. Okay, you can just choose how many little eggs you pop out, and then
What was
the
discussed?
man comes in and okay. So how about this? I'm going to try and redirect, this.
Okay.
I'm trying to get something fruitful from this conversation. Okay, so I'm going to say to you, how would it change people's romantic relationships with would the whole process of having a baby? How would that change thanks to this? Like, would people still,
I have a question for you.
Go
How would
on.
it not change?
because you don't.
What things change?
Well, it's like the guy. Like, would you? The guy has to go into the room on his own. Would the woman be there while the man's there? Would she watch him? Would you want to watch, or would you be like, no, you got to go in there? It's the
The
mystery.
only reason I'd watch is because he's going to eat them.
Yeah.
If he's not going to eat them, he can do what he wants. He's the
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah. Okay.
In the animal kingdom, the only reason the mother stays near the babies is if the father is going to eat them.
Yeah.
If he's not going to eat them, he can do what he wants.
Okay, so he's probably not gonna eat them.
Probably not.
Well, I don't know. I can't say.
Would
for
you
certain.
eat them if they were your kids?
I mean, let's not get bogged down in who would eat what. That's speculation, isn't
I have a
it?
question for you. When this was discussed in the pub, which
Yeah.
plainly was the pub, what came up?
Well, we only briefly touched on it. Brent suggested. We were just saying about
Did he mention
we were
eating
talking about
them?
interesting things. Like you're obsessed with the devouring of the young.
Okay, so tell me,
whereas we were talking about other things like
you
how it would
brought-
affect their gestation period and how it would
We covered that.
Well, yeah, we did cover that, but only because I brought it up.
I said the
in
word
between
gestation.
you going on about eating them constantly.
Okay, what else did you bring up?
Not that was about it
Okay,
really.
you tell me, how would this affect the world? The world would be the same.
Okay, why would it be the same?
Because people still have babies.
Yeah.
You'd have more active people waiting to have kids because they wouldn't have to be carrying the babies around.
Yeah.
The babies are safe. You could just hire a babysitter to watch the pool. As long as they were a babytarian and weren't going to eat your babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you a vegan? Come on in.
It's the same world.
Well, yeah, because there'd be no... Like, pregnant women wouldn't have to put up with the hormone imbalances and stuff. It'd be great. That part of it would be great.
That'd be good.
I could take them to work if I wanted, carry on. Never have to finish work. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Fathers would be more involved because they want to stay home more.
Why?
Well,
So-
based on you because you want to sit around on the sofa in your pants.
Yeah, that is true.
So I could go back to work and you could stay here. So stay-at-home dads would probably be more popular.
Why? Why would the egg situation make stay-at-home dads more popular?
Because at the moment, women are forced to have to take time off work because their bodies are being altered.
Yeah.
And then they have to physically recover and care for the baby.
Right.
Whereas if it didn't physically affect you once you gave birth to these things and you had months and months to recover, the two of you could decide who stays at home. And I personally feel, and I know this is argumentative, I suppose, but I feel that men would make really good stay-at-home dads because they're not as social as women, so that they'd want to stay home more, whereas women thrive in a social environment, so women can go straight back into the workplace where they can... Basically, I have the complete opposite view of the entire world, that women are made to be in workplaces these days because work is very communicative and social, and they need to be very creative and things, whereas men are very good at... How would you put it? Like...
Well, men are more...
Men are very social too, but they're very good at being in their own company,
yeah.
I feel.
Because I suppose, because we've talked about this before, haven't we? Like in the sense of an evolutionary way, men are the hunters, and they would often be several men would go out and hunt together, but they wouldn't talk because obviously you had to be quiet because you're hunting. So they work together to hunt, but they're very almost solitary and lonely in that sense, which is why men generally don't talk as much and stuff. Otherwise, women would be back in the cave with all the other women and the babies, and they would be talking and communicating and supporting each other and cooking food, and they'd be doing other things together. So women are actually social and interactive, whereas men are a little bit more antisocial, a little bit loner. So and in the modern world, where having kids, you're often in the home on your own, it would be probably better suited to men because men are more used to being on their own, and whereas women, the workplace now is where people actively communicate and socialise, which is much more conducive to the female, disposition.
Obviously it goes per woman and stuff.
Yeah, this is massive generalisation.
Generalise it, but I do think that the idea is that women should stay at home and men should go to, not anymore, but it used to be men should go to work. But I think that when you think about the way the workplaces are these days and how many factors actually women lend themselves to, and I also think that men are very good at teaching things as well. And I think that I think people underestimate how good stay-at-home dads would be. I think it's a shame, and I think it's quite exciting to see that change. And I think it in this world where the woman's body isn't physically being made to carry a child for 9 months, you'd actually find that the switch would happen definitely.
Okay, here's this add twist to this. Mm-hmm. What if it is the seahorse thing where the women lay the eggs and the men have to carry the eggs? They have to fertilise them and carry them. How would that change? Are we in a world
where somehow this has just happened, or a world where this has always been the way?
That's just the way it is.
If this is the way it's always been, you take our exact world and you just reverse it.
But what if men are still the more physical, powerful ones? So it's still men as they are now, but now they carry the child. Would that affect the female-male dynamic?
I think the hormones that help you to carry children make people more... The hormones are basically preparing you to care for other people. So I think that...
It would soften the male...
Yeah, so you'd have a lot softer men.
So men wouldn't be quite as aggressive.
I want to live in that world. That'd be a great world.
Where men carry the babies.
Men are big softies, carry the babies around. Women are the same and carry on. Yeah. Basically, it just
sounds good.
Guys. I just changed you guys.
You've got everything to gain from this new world, and we've got everything to lose. Suddenly, we've got all these new responsibilities and job roles. I don't like it one little bit.
Yeah, you try going for a job where they secretly want to ask you, "Are you going to have kids soon?" And they can't, so they just assess from looking at you whether you're going to have kids. You live in that world. Have fun.
No, I don't.
Would you like that? Would you? Is there any part of you that would like to be able to carry the kids?
A part of me thinks in a way,
12.
It's something we
12 of them.
I want to on my back, but it's kind of in a way we sort of underestimate, and I think women underestimate as well. The fact that they'll have a relationship with the child that a man can never have. They are physically joined.
I would argue though, because I feel like a mother that has adopted a child is still as much as a mother.
Of course.
Yeah, so I think that the physical part of it is more... I don't know. It's hard to talk about because I've never...
Yeah, but it's something a man cannot experience. You know, there's nothing really that a man can experience that a woman can't. Whereas we literally can never experience what it's like to carry a child.
I can never experience someone sticking a catheter up my pee-pee.
I think you could probably do a close approximation. So I think we've totally nailed this topic.
We've done nothing. We've gone nowhere.
This has been very productive.
We are like a man in a boat with one paddle. We've just gone around in circles, shouting.
Just shouting at
the
each
baby goo can speak.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that I'm going to be doing the hosting from now on after this podcast.
You'll never do the hosting again. Please come back. No, you did good.
Do you reckon?
I don't think we've soiled anything in any way. I think this episode is just...
Well, I've got to ask your questions now, haven't I? Unless we've got some other things. Well, what have you got? Let me see what you've got written down here. So, how would it change science and population?
Well, science we've kind of talked about.
Yeah,
so
population, you reckon there'd be loads, but if you ate them, there wouldn't be as many. So that's that solved.
Do you think there would be more babies if men had them or less babies?
If we had to carry them, less babies. Much less. Yeah, definitely.
Do you think men would be more concerned with birth control if there was...
Oh, yes. Suddenly those condoms wouldn't be quite as uncomfortable.
So what about a world where it's 50-50 whether you get pregnant or she gets pregnant?
Well, oh God, that's a horrible world. I don't want to imagine that. But I'm just saying, actually, well, you'd be going into a room and just wanking onto some eggs, wouldn't you? So it's like it's very...
That's kind of what you do now.
Yeah, that's my normal Thursday.
Tuesday.
So, and Tuesdays, is it? Yeah, like it would be different, I suppose. You know, there wouldn't be birth control. There we are. That's an interesting science. There would be no birth control
so
because
there'd be a lot of
you just wouldn't wank on the eggs.
It'd be like in the 60s. Free sex would be everywhere. Free love would be everywhere because there's no risk of getting pregnant.
But would there still be sex then, though?
Well, yeah, it'd still feel good, surely, wouldn't it?
Why?
Yeah, that's a good point. God, in this world, sex doesn't exist.
Yeah. So how does that change things?
Well, that's a whole other podcast. You can't have we've been talking for 47 minutes. We can't right now decide the sex doesn't exist in the world. That's a
But I told you that from the very beginning.
No, that's a whole episode. That is not. If I wasn't lazy, I'd replay right now what you said at the beginning, and I 100% guarantee you did not say in a world with no sex.
Well, I said woman lays the eggs in a paddling pool, and the man comes in fertilizer. That kind of implies there's no sex.
I kind of still assumed in my head that you'd still have a relationship the way you have now, but then that's just how when you decided to have kids, that's what you did.
Oh, that's a very strange way of looking at it, but okay. I get it. So the question is, would you live there in this world?
No, because I know nothing about this world apart from people eat babies and weird bulgoos can talk.
What world is it most like?
None. It's nonsense. Finding Nemo is the closest at the beginning when they have a bunch of babies that a shark eats. No, like a barracuda eats.
Yeah.
And there's one gimpy little one left, and that's Nemo. That's the world that you've chosen to be more like. Brent, I also would like to say, your friend that came up with this, Brent and Sam have nothing to do with how rubbish this is. I feel like this is all on you.
You saying that I didn't put enough thought into this. And...
I'm going to be honest, I've loved this. This is good.
Would you prefer this world or the world with the replicator?
This world.
Yeah? I think so. I think that's fair. Because you can, it's kind of, you're a little replicator, aren't you? Just replicate the little...
Of course the replicator world. I feel like the replicator world is your Muppets world, isn't it? It's like the greatest world we've ever done.
Yeah, it's the best thing I can imagine, yeah.
What about you?
Replicator world, yeah. I don't see much appeal of the frog spawn world, to be honest. And I suppose finally, is it a Utopia, a Dystopia, or a Midopia?
I think this actually is a Midopia, because I don't really know anything about it.
It's like the neutral planet. I have no strong feelings either way.
It's a bit like Paraguay. I don't really know anything about it, but I'm sure it's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There we go.
Could be worse, but I don't know.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss, type thing.
Do you know anything about Paraguay?
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? This is a bit off topic, but we have loads of listeners from the Ukraine.
Really?
Hello, Ukraine.
Wow. Loads by loads. Do you mean one or?
About 60 per episode.
No. Yeah. In the Ukraine?
That's the other thing. Lee, do you know how many people we've had listen to these episodes so far?
No.
It's just about to cross 2,000.
Wow.
2,000. Well,
we've had
4,000 ear holes. I've listened
to this.
2 hour nonsense.
Wow. That's a lot, isn't it?
Makes
and a lot of them, 120 of those ear holes were in Kiev, or at least in Ukraine.
None of them were eaten.
No. Unless they were chicken Kievs. You
that
like
was,
that?
That was
You like that one,
beautiful
didn't you?
setup of my joke being about what we were talking about and yours combining into a beautiful, beautiful book.
Yeah. You left that joke in a paddling pool, and I came in and punchlined all over it.
Punchlined all over is the name of this episode.
Yeah.
Do you know the last thing I always ask?
Where can I find you? Where can we find you? Where can the people of the Ukraine find you?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite of you.
Yeah. You're on every social media, even ones we've never heard of. You're on them.
If you would, I am the man above the paddling pool of the internet.
Yeah.
Just spreading
your
non-wisdom throughout the lands.
Lovely. That's a horrible image.
So what is our website, Lee?
www.drinksanddystopia.blogspot.com.
Nice. Well,
is that right?
And do we have an email?
www.email@blogspot.drinks. It would be drinksanddystopia@hotmail.com.
Yeah, that's a new one. And you know what would be really nice as a Christmas present to us is if people could go and rate and review us on iTunes.
Oh, we e-begging. Is this e-begging? Sort of a little bit?
100% yes. E-begging?
Yeah.
A begging.
A begging, yeah. We're a begging. Oh, it sounds better if it's a begging. It sounds very medieval.
Please, sir, I'm a begging.
I'm a begging.
I want a review.
Throw a shekely review in my bowl. Don't cut that bit. Cut that bit.
Are you going to edit this too?
No, definitely not.
Well, this will be a 4-minute long podcast in which Lee says the question and I say there's nothing's going to change and we'll end it.
And then just go straight to the credits. Does a podcast have credits? No. Why would it?
It would just say, can you Lee?
Yeah, that's
Maybe
it.
Brent.
Yeah. Idea by Brent.
Ruined by Tanya Lee.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Oh dear. That was.
We should not record two podcasts in a row.
What the hell was that?
We have far too much fun doing this.
To all a good night.
To dystopias.
To dystopias. Cheers.
You're never being in charge again.